that gave up on you. There are people in this building that gave up on you. I need you not to give up on you. They're giving you another chance. They're taking on this chance. I want every one of you to be an alumni of this school. Every one of you to come back and know what this means. This right here is bigger than football. This right here is bigger than anything you can imagine. When you walk out of this school as a graduate, not a completer, not no partial graduate, a graduate, you're going to be proud to be a chief. You will represent this for the rest of your life. When you go in there for your another chance that they're giving you, take that chance. If you're not serious about getting out of here, you're not expecting to go there and chill around. You have all day if you need it. I will bring you lunch if you need it. But I need you to go over there and try. I need more than just half of y'all to pass. I need every one of you to pass. This right here needs to be very personal for you like it is for me.
I'm kicking in your front. Great peeping in your drapes. Rob making a plate in the back. Chief Hall Podcast. Chief Hall Podcast. Chief Hall Podcast. Chief Hall Podcast. Right now. And we have a wonderful guest today.
Okay.
If you haven't seen the little intro that we just did, well, you wasn't paying attention, but we have Dr. Bridgette Mckinney on here with us today, and we're just going to talk a little bit about school, about life, about improving the state of our education in our community.
Say your name one more time. Say your name one more time, sir.
It's going to
let's get some applause. Say your name one more time, please, sir. Get some applause.
Oh.
Say your name one more time. There you go. I hear it.
Dr. Bridgette Mckinney. How you doing?
I'm great.
It's all right if we call you Doc.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, Doc.
I got the prescription.
All right. There you go. I need one. But okay, so let's get started right in it.
All right.
Okay. Now, where you born and raised? And let's go through that real quick. Born and raised.
In Miami.
Born and raised.
That's right. Opalaka.
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 That's right. Now, you grew up in that Opalaka era, that era, because you finished high school right a little bit before we did.
Okay.
So we all kind of grew up around that same time. Mm-hmm. So Opalaka, we heard a lot about Opalaka. I grew up in Liberty City and then moved up to Karat City. But
we called it Cherry Bay. That's where I live.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now, what you remember so much about growing up that may have got you on this path to be principal? Is there anything you remember that may have triggered that? That
I actually had an opportunity to see someone that looked like me in a role at Brentwood Elementary School, Miss Jackson.
Okay.
She was the assistant principal. Mr. Jaworski, I believe, was the principal, but I saw two women lead a building.
Because it's not impossible to, as an elementary, because we come up in the days where they had Officer Friendly and all that came out. I went to Charles Drew Elementary School.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So I remember they came to the school. So it's not far-fetched for a child to say that they want to be a principal.
No.
It's not.
No.
But was it principal in the beginning, or was I want to be an
teacher?
Educator?
No, I wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
I played. If you didn't do the garage classroom with your dolls in the seat, you really don't want to be a teacher. You had to do it. You had to play. You had to role play.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a teacher. It came naturally, but I wanted to be a teacher. So I think that was the early beginnings.
Educated, because you saw those.
Saw good role models. Models
that triggered it. Okay, so you didn't want to be a doctor. You didn't see no doctor.
No, I actually don't like the sight of blood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that could be a problem.
Yeah, it could be.
But you might, and it's unfortunately you might see some blood as a high school principal.
Have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it came around.
Who were your leaders again? Inspired.
So I had Miss Jack in elementary school. I had Miss Jackson and I had Mr. Jaworski who paddled me. Okay, because I had to go to office. I was the president of the elementary school when they had the student council, but I wrote my name on a bathroom wall to be remembered.
To be remembered.
Yeah, and I got remembered.
And you were remembered.
I was reminded of my remembered of that name.
For sure.
And my first paddle. But after that, it reminded me that you have to have some form of discipline, to kind of steer you back in the right direction. Understanding that was defaming the property, that all those words that we use now. All I thought was I was writing my autograph because I wanted to be remembered. I was at Brentwood. Yeah.
You saw all those other ones.
That's crazy. Can we segue into that real fast? What do you think about paddling from then when we grew up, we had it, versus now? And you don't have to be political with it, but just like, is there a difference in what's happening now, or it's just a sign of the times?
The sign of times for corporate punishment is different.
Okay.
So what we were brought up on, even with prayer in school and no prayer in school, now school prayer is back. All of those things have changed the dynamics of how we kind of operate as a school, as a district. But I think then it was okay because neighborhoods and everybody could raise you. Mm-hmm. Now people don't really want you telling them what to do. And that's adults as well. So, corporate punishment perceived now is now abuse. It has to be reported.
Signs of the time.
Big difference.
Everything changed.
Significantly, yes.
And how we were raised, yeah. It's unfortunate. And I one of my biggest things is being able to hold what was valuable from the older times and be able to, what we use now, like computers and modern technology, to bridge those would be so important to making us really understand the significance of both. We lost, we either one on one end or the other. And
I look at it from another lens. I think of it as from a typewriter, because you had to type. I don't know if you all had business classes. You had to learn how to type. The base where the kids know how to keyboard rap, and they use their fingers. They use it on their phones. It's a move with time. It worked then for us. We wrote letters. We didn't type it. We didn't have spell check. We have dummied it down because everything on your phone, from AI to everything, kind of guides you and teaches you how to do it. So you really don't have to use as many brain cells as we did when we were coming up. That's why we were more creative.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, being an educator all this time, do you feel that the kids of this generation might have it a little bit harder because everything's in their face, or do they have it a little easier because everything is in their face? I
think they have a more of a challenge with processing things when they're asked to do it independently versus when we spoon feed. And I think parents, I don't want my kids to have to grow up like I did. We all want to give them a little bit more. Sometimes I think we give them way too much, and then they are not able to cope. So I kind of try to keep it too much because our kids don't, when it's time for them to cope in the real world, they got to function. They got to be able to be upset and know how to conquer through that, and then know how to be really happy and balance that. And I think it's that understanding of the difference of how we were brought up, what we were given. We give sometimes I'll tell my teachers, you let them think, ask the question and give it the wait time. Because they might be able to process that, but we're so busy thinking we got to get them to notice by this deadline because we're under so many high stakes testing. We give them too much and not force them to do it independently. I want to see these kids independent thinkers. And that's hard sometimes because we under so much scrutiny, especially at schools like ours, that struggle with the Achilles heel of having low reading proficiency or low graduating rates, or dropout rates, or we deal with the violence and the crime that many other schools may not have to endure. So it's a difference. But I think we have to kind of make our kids independent thinkers to cope and give them an opportunity to make some mistakes because they will fall. Yeah. Did you learn from your mistakes?
Yeah.
Did it feel, when something didn't feel good, you like, okay, I can't go back to that. It didn't feel good. If something went really well, how do I make that happen again? We got to allow that balance for our kids. And sometimes we shield them so much from it that they don't get those full experiences we had.
Because you got to be able to learn from them. If you don't learn from them, then you going backwards.
I failed at the track meet with the staff, right? And I didn't get two steps from the start. I had all this, I was stretching, ready to go. Cause I come from a family of athletes. And I didn't get 2 steps when they hit the gun because I had on Nikes. I had on some Nikes and I didn't have on the cleats. And I took off and the rubber gripped. I hit the ground. 3 steps. Kids were rolling laughing because it was a staff race, But I remember hearing somebody say, you still got to finish it. And I had scars and scratches and embarrassment. Well, because because all the cameras was on. But you know what they said? You got to finish it. And whether I won first place or not, I finished. Absolutely. You know, I got across that line. I think that was the bigger picture to me winning it. Yeah. Get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, a friend of ours told us that your sister was amazing in track.
Mm-hmm.
You ever thought about running track?
We all had to run track.
You had to run track.
We had to run track.
So you decided like, okay, I like doing this, but then you became
a swimmer.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's what I like about how we were raised. You had to. You see how you say we all had to run track?
We had to.
You got to take some. You can't have all these options. I think now kids have too many options. You know, we came up with whatever mom cooked, that's what we ate.
That's right.
Yeah. Now
or you starve.
Yeah.
You
didn't mind you going to bed hungry.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't want to eat, go ahead. That's all right. You'll eat tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or you gonna eat breakfast for sure.
Liver was mine.
So now we're on that journey. Mm-hmm. So now we choose a college.
Ooh.
And you chose
Bethune-Cookman University.
Historically black university.
Let me tell you the backstory. I lived in Cherry Bay. I grew up in that area. All my friends. My mom moved us to Miami Lakes when I got middle school age. That's when it was grades 7 through 9.
Okay.
And so I ended up at Miami Lakes Middle School. And then American was the high school that I attended. For sure, right?
Over that way.
And my mom thought that I did not have enough of a black experience. Because at American, they bust them in from the Bajas, but it was just like a pocket. So that's when I got a chance to see all my old friends at some point, George Howards and all those back in the day. But I didn't get that true black feel. And she thought I had lost sight of who and my roots. And so my Uncle Larry Little was the coach at the time at Bethune-Cookman. And she sent me there. Now, she sent me there and I ended up on a chorus scholarship. But when I got there and saw a whole campus of black folks, I had never, ever been in a place with all blacks for a very long time, since like Brentwood. And it was kind of integrated then. But so Cookman wasn't.
How did that feel? I mean,
like I was in another world. And I'm going to tell you this, it gave me a complete different perspective on how I saw things, because they taught me some things. I'm a card player. I'll bust you up on some spades. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll take it to you. Okay. Oh, I'll take it to you. You get that at a black institution. No, I wasn't gonna get. I would have got chess somewhere else, but I got spades.
So now, fam, you wasn't even in the picture.
Not necessarily.
We all rattlers, just so you remember.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Don't you laugh back there. If I catch you,
I'm so sorry.
If I catch them laughing back there about that,
I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You so sorry?
Yeah, I am a true wildcat.
You know he's a wildcat too, right?
That's right. Enter to learn, depart to serve.
One thing I can say, my mother was a wildcat.
Good. That's why you're a good man.
My mama was a wildcat.
You don't know that yet.
She was okay. She was something else. She was the first graduating class from Miami Northwestern. She was 56.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, so you come from a house from the Bulls to the Wildcats.
Chief, Bull, Chief, and them Rattlers.
Oof.
We got a nice mix over there. So now, as you were on this HBCU campus, one of them, they famous, and now they changed the name because you went when it was a college.
I was BCC.
That's right.
BCC.
So they changed the name, and now were you involved? Were you involved, student?
Yeah. When I got there, I ran for Miss Freshman. Okay. And because I cried because I had never been away from home for a long time. I was a pastor kid, so they didn't really let us go to sleepovers and stuff like that. So
you were homesick already.
I was home. I cried when they left, but I ran for Miss Freshman and won Miss Freshman. I went out for the cheer squad because I knew I really, really, in my deep corner, wanted to be one of the 14K. But I thought that would get me closer to the game, and I went out, made the cheer squad, but. I would leave practice and go over there, and Mr. Bray used to see me watching from the back of the wall, like peeping around to watch the 14K practice. And I was a freshman, and one day he told me, come in my tights, because you only could be on the squad if you were a sophomore and up.
This
at Cookman, you couldn't. I was a freshman then, and I went to practice thinking it was okay, and the whole squad walked off. The whole team. They said if she danced, then we all quit. And they locked arms on that.
They locked arms.
Oh yeah, they locked arms. And I was scared. I ain't never seen that because at American, if you show interest, you could just do it. Yeah. That's not how it works at a black. Like it don't work. You didn't go to band camp. You were not coming out there and just walking on.
Yeah. The band director at that time was who?
Harold Bray. Okay. The legend.
We're talking with Dr. McKinney. We'll be right back, part 2. Look at Chief Hall Podcast back at you with Dr. McKinney. And we were right there when we was getting into this practice that you went to with the famous 14 karat gold dancers. Continue with that story.
Really, you want me to continue? I end up not making a. I did not go for the sake because I could not be the person that those girls didn't make it to the halftime because Cookman 14K was it. That was what they came to halftime to see. Oh yeah, so I waited my time and I did audition and the next when it opened, made the squad and then I became captain.
Okay,
and I had that same thought. You're not just gonna walk on this squad.
Oh, you had the same.
Yeah.
And they wanted to instill that. Right.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You earned it.
If we would have had some videos, we would have had you.
Oh Lord.
It didn't look like that though, right?
No, it didn't look like that. He could do it better. No. But we'll get to that. We probably check some of that out later. All right, so now we 14K all that there because Wells came way after.
Yeah, Wells is after. Yeah,
it came well, but Mr. Portier was always there.
Oh my God, the musician writer.
Yeah, Mr. Portier.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a legend.
He like Sarge still there, and the only one about to leave again now at FAMU is Dr. James. About to retire.
Don't say that yet. Don't say retirement for Dr. James yet. But we'll get into that.
Okay.
First, he don't tell me what to say. I just want you to.
I'll tell him what
he can say.
Because he's the band man.
Oh yeah,
we 100%.
Oh, you both 100. Wait, what? Who's percussion?
Him.
Okay. The heartbeat, and you?
Trombone.
Okay.
What again?
The heartbeat.
Thank you very much.
Heartbeat.
That's the heartbeat. You know that. Saxophone.
And,
unfortunately,
what you did at Cookman?
He said unfortunately.
Trombone.
He played trombone.
Yeah, I should tell Vic you couldn't walk past my horn, but only people at family.
That's only because y'all had that long stick.
That sound.
She said because you're tripping.
No, you shut up.
She just did.
The sound.
Is it a sound? Okay.
We'll knock you out.
But he was
percussion.
He was on that.
Good.
91
snares. What? Which one? Quads.
No.
Bass.
Snare drum.
Snare. Oh yeah, then you carry it like drum line. Okay.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I get it.
Yeah. All right. So now we digressed a little bit. We went off chasing butterfly, but now we getting back on to where we are. You graduated. Now we got all this going on. First job was at school. Teaching school was well
at Miami Carroll City Senior.
Okay.
Miss Henry hired me.
Yeah,
she hired me. And wait,
right.
Mr. Beckford gave me a chance because they were trying to add. He's a rattler. They brought dancers in.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had that dance background, and they had a group called the Glamour Girls, but it wasn't really fitting. And so that was too big of a name for young girls. Yeah. Glamour Girls. So I came apart, and then I switched the name after they first year to the Diamond Dancers.
Okay.
Yeah, and we became national champs. Miss Henry was the principal, and she hired me in dance and theater. That was how I got my footing, and had our first play that hadn't happened in 10 years, and got to really know a lot of the kids, and a lot of the students now I have their children right now as a principal at the school. It's like full circle. That was my first job, and towards what I call like the latter part of my career, full circle is where I'm probably going to end my career.
You know, I think that they probably really took that into account when they were going over your resume.
Yeah, it was actually I started there. I knew what the pride looked like then. I knew what Chief Hall really was. I know the show was called Chief, but there was a Chief Hall.
That's why. That's right.
Yeah, there was a Chief, and out. That was a hallway, and it meant something. Indeed. You know. And today, I believe like that got lost in the messaging. You know, with no loyalty and dedication to schools, what pride of a school really means. Yeah. And but I can close my eyes and tell you the Walts, the Mary L. Henrys, the Staffers, and the Miss Walkers and Miss Howard. I could see all of those legends in that building, and so I know Neil was your band director. I had Becker; he had left, right? Yeah. Carnell White was there, but he had gone. Mr. Henry, I can call him Barrett. I got some names in my head that I can relate. And Coach Moore.
Barrett too?
Coach Barrett, Coach Moore.
Okay. Coach Frazier. Coach Frazier was
and his brother Bobby Frazier
was there too. Yeah,
exactly. Miss Dennis calls me. There are some people I could call that rooted me, and believe it or not, Coach Frazier was my mentor teacher. And I used to ask Coach Frazier, because they put me in the hallway across from the weight room. So 149 was a dance room. And I could smell it, but every day them boys would trump you if you were in their way to get to that weight room on time. Yeah. And I used to say, Coach, how you get these boys to run your big boys, OJs, running your class? And he made them take my dance class, by the way, for footwork. And he said, you got to find that ticket. For me, as a coach, their ticket sometimes is for them to get out of these neighborhoods. I'm that ticket. And this is like a job. You can't get it on time, you get fined. You get released. Yeah. I treat it just like a work. Find that ticket and they'll run your class. And I had to find it. You had to find that ticket. I found that ticket. Yeah.
And what was it?
I took kids who never had any background to nationals and won.
Yeah.
And it just changed the whole dynamic. I brought a play and kids had never been on stage. My brother Moses right now still do Mo Wash plays because he was in the Amen corner. That was his inspirations. And Brandy Hussey is on TV right now. She was one of my stars in the plays. Yeah. It was the beginnings. And so I had a ticket. I found their ticket. Quentin, they call him Funky Dineva, got his own show. Started there. So I found a ticket and they began to run.
And it worked. Well, Coach Frazier is a great friend of the show, and he was the one I was telling us that Larry Little,
that was your uncle. Yeah,
and uncle. They were good friends.
Oh, they best friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that all came full circle. So now you got your first school was Karat City, and then you transitioned and you went on. But this was a.
I became activities director. Activities director first. And then my first assistant principal job was outside of Carroll City, and Carroll City grade dropped to if Z was a letter, it would have been a Z, and that low. And they needed to bring administrators back that came from high performance schools, and because I was at Miami Lakes Tech, who had been A's consistently, and I had some early beginnings, they brought me back because they had to change up the administration, and I came back as an assistant principal to Carroll City, but the Regent Soup at the time said he wanted me to go somewhere that I could learn how to not be a reactive administrator, but more of a proactive. And because there were so many situations you had to respond to so quickly, he wanted me to he wanted someone else to model how to be a proactive leader. And I went all the way to South Ridge under Dr. Moore.
Okay.
And so, but he knew I had a connection with the community, but he just wanted me to have a different experience. I didn't agree with it at first, but I'm thankful for it now. And so years later, after going to a middle school as a principal, then to Scott Lake as an elementary principal, I got a phone call, and they said they needed something to come back. And I don't think anyone had what it takes today for what Carroll City needed to rebuild.
And you got a little inside that heart too.
It became personal because I watched from the outside things change. Programming stashed away, morale, teachers leaving, students not feeling safe, community not believing in it anymore. I was out there. I was an ears to the ground. I could see it. I watched it. Yeah.
And that's going to help with the transition. I mean, when we were talking to Coach, he was really adamant about the fact that he had you on his team as he go forward. Because Coach Frazier talked about how important it is for the principal. Mr. White was his person that allowed him to, hey, look, whatever you need, Coach.
Yeah.
That helps. And Coach was saying that too.
Yeah.
That's so important.
I think anyone who knows anything about support, and you have been faced with some opposition or resistance, it makes your job more difficult. But when you find, as I did with this coach, because I shut down, I went into a deep meditation. I did rely on a lot of people to kind of guide. J-Boy, for instance, he won back to back. I put him on the advisory team for me. I went to the community parks and I made them a part of it. I started talking to community stakeholders, and I wouldn't make a decision solely independently, but I knew it was my decision. And I had to, I'm very spiritual because I told you I'm a PK. And so it wasn't a flesh decision. It was a spiritual decision. I wanted God to give me a sign that was the person. I actually told Coach Stubbs he didn't have the job. I sent him an email thanking him for the interview and telling him, no, you were not selected. And I didn't have anyone. I had some options. And so my athletic director and everybody in disbelief was saying, what are you doing? You lost your mind. The kids are going to start leaving. They're going to start running. But the Spirit told me they were not going to leave. That if those kids had endured a season like we endured, a 1-9, and I said to those young men, I'm going to find something that's going to fix it, but I need you to hang in there and trust the process. I don't know if kids know what that means, because you could just say that. But what does that really look like? I said, I need you to trust that whenever I make this decision, that you're going to benefit from it. And that decision was not about popularity, because I had some serious options on the table. It was sent, and but the Spirit said no. And then on January 31st, I gave myself a hard deadline. And after telling a couple people, everybody got a denial letter. I called him. I called him while I was walking through the mall, and I said, he did. I said, but I need you to get on the phone with some folks, okay? I want to be sure that what I'm feeling, I need that confirmation. And there's something about his spirit that he had never had the chance to be a head coach. Yeah. He's always been in the backdrop, navigating waters, controlling victories, controlling, the temperature, the selection of the talent, molding talent, but no one had given him that chance. And that's kind of like what my story has been. And I said, I wonder if he get the chance, he'll do what I'm doing. Change the game.
Change the game. And
let me tell you something. The day I said, I still told him, all right, coach, stand by. We weren't there yet. I called him that night and I said, you're it. Are you ready? He said, I've been waiting on this moment for a very long time. I think he said 18 years, maybe. That's about how long I waited to be named a high school principal. So I found that soul connect, and I said, let's see. And from the day he's walked in the door, he hasn't asked for a single dime. The weight room looks different. The kids coming. 42 kids that could have left stayed. We are now at like 81 kids. Talent that was in that building that was saying, nah, miss, I don't want to play. And I used to think, yo, big 6'5", like why? He got him. He's turned. He got kids that are my biggest troublemakers showing up to practice. The fights that used to happen on the corner, I don't have to worry about it because they got somewhere to be now. And they got somebody that's spiritual, but firm and fair. Yeah, man, he's God sent. And I'm thankful for the wait, because you can go too fast and you'll miss something. And I would have missed him if I went fast. I would have picked the wrong person.
So you're a fan of the underdog. You're a fan of the underdog.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love people that can develop a rose from concrete. That's what I admire people like that. People that can come in and you already ready made, and you don't even have to do as much. Yeah. Doesn't really impress me. I'm not even impressed with somebody say, as the interviewers would say, I got 20 kids coming with me. That used to turn me off.
Oh, that used to run you down.
Oh, that turned me off. Well,
you and your kids, go ahead on.
Yeah. That talk that I was speaking to is that you were controlling kids' lives based on you, not a program. When I walked away from my school when I got promoted, they asked me who I was coming with. I came by myself. No one came with me. Build a talent within. That's what real leadership is. Find a talent within the building. Sometimes it's hidden. You got untapped, but develop that before you start bringing everybody in because you work with them and they already have, no.
Now with this big old task you got, taking on Karat City, one of the largest, if not one of the what they call
I call it the big stage.
The big stage or the 7. You said
the top,
earlier.
yeah, the top 7.
Top 7.
Top 7.
With all of the challenges you have, how do you have time to start that program that you have, Peace Swap? How do you have time for that now?
Because the love for children, right, has to come from inside. It's not something that could be taught and developed. Mm-hmm. Our black kids, our black, brown, and tan children don't typically learn to swim. They'll get it. They love water. But they don't typically go to a formal swim lessons. And I started as a lifeguard at Brentwood Pool and Murder Grove.
So you had a little.
I had some background. My mom, I saw the importance of it, but I didn't see a lot of individuals that looked like me when I made a big stage. Like I sit on the American Red Cross Scientific Advisory Council in Washington, D.C. When I look around the table, it's 1, 2, 3 that look like me. And it's a room of 70, but I'm speaking on the importance of why our kids drown at a higher rate and what really works. So I founded a program 10 years ago, Peace Swap. Professionals, because I'm a professional, we share with a purpose. So I brought in professionals that look like me, that can teach CPR, that could teach swim. My mom is a doctor, so she came in. She did the CPR training because in order for you to get this for free, your parents had to learn CPR because those kids that were drowning in Miami Gardens, it's because all the pools were closed. And so kids still were getting in the water, but 2 kids on one day woke me up. There was a incident. One was 1, one was 2 years old. Same day, 5 minutes apart, the 911 calls went out. The mother ran down the street holding 2 cell phones and left her child at the bottom of the pool because she panicked. And the grandfather did jump in the water and pull the child out. I remember seeing it on the news. One of the kids didn't make it. The other did. And I said, if I find her, I'm going to teach her how to swim. And from there, I said I was going to start off with 40 kids. And it jumped to 800 to 2,000 every year. So now I'm having an impact. And it's not one reported incident since this program started that went through me. I'm not a drown-proof program.
That's right. Yeah.
But I'm teaching kids. They're becoming the lifeguards now. They're becoming my instructors, my daughters, both. All of them swim and teach. I'm not able to physically do it at the level I used to, but I'm trained enough that they can do it. But that's what happened. Yes, I run a program and I'm not going to stop because I'm a principal.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm not going to stop that.
I mean, eventually the kids at the school, the high school, they'll be you wouldn't be able to keep them from wanting to help out.
Yeah, I'm turning them into some lifeguards.
Yeah.
Swim team's coming back to Karat City, by the way.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, it's coming back.
I mean, that went out. I don't think we had that
in a long time, but yeah, we could bring it.
A swim team.
A swim team, tennis. Yes, tennis. Soccer's back. Softball, baseball's coming. Basketball, volleyball for boys, flag football for girls.
Because a lot of that faded away.
All went away.
Yeah.
And coaches are so instrumental. Coaches is what kind of they give you like that home away from home or that father figure or that mother figure that you don't have. Yeah. Coaches have an impact. You know what I like about Coach Stubbs? Is that he gave everybody in the faculty meeting, he gave them his cell number. And he will show up and sit right there next to them players that giving them problems right in class. That's like old school Joe Clark style,
He knows.
You got a problem, the teacher pick up the phone, he go in classroom to classroom, he'll sit right there. And he's a teacher.
And why did all those programs go away? We always thought it was due to funding, county funding. They lost a lot of funding in the counties.
That is not true.
So what did it?
Leadership.
Leadership.
Yeah. You want it, you ask for it. You don't ask for it, you don't get it. And so Driver's Ed is coming back.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
I heard the budget was $1.2 million to reconstruct the parking lot that we have a facility to do.
Yeah, I was in Driver's Ed.
But
right,
you know what? I asked the superintendent for it because Dr. Dochis, who's our current superintendent, told me, and I have a very supportive board member, if we need it, you got to ask. Sometimes we are afraid to ask. And like when I talked to Shaq that day when he came to Scott Lake, and he says, don't ask me for something I can go pull out my truck. You know what I mean? Or my pocket. and I wasn't thinking big. Ask me for something that's going to challenge me. You know, $8,000 and getting every kid an iPad, that's pennies, you know, to what he's worth. And so now I'm asking for things that most people would say impossible. I want Tesla at our school. I want the electric vehicle program where our kids can learn how to work on those cars. Change the whole bay. I want to bring nursing. We got medical assistants back. I want to bring the simulation because we need drivers there. While you reconstructing, give me 15 simulation machines so they could still learn, because in order to get in the Tesla program, you have to have a driver license for 2 years.
Now I ain't hear too much about that music.
So the music program, I've been talking with Mr. Mustafa. Yeah, Mr. Mustafa, you know, he's a legend like his dad was. That's Melton Mustafa. We met and I've asked him to come back. You know, he's a chief, class of 90. That's right. And so he's going to come, and Mr. White, who's a rattler like you are, he's there. They both rattlers. But I want to bring that harmony back
and work
as an assistant. That's right.
Okay.
Right. He's a draw. Yeah, he's a draw. 100%.
They're about to have this big jazz festival.
That's right.
Been going on for
years.
For so long.
Yeah.
It's coming up, so that's good too.
They gave him the key to the city.
Did he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Stop it,
yeah. He's an excellent musician, and I've asked him I told him to pray about it, because I know he has all that going on. But I said, what an impact you will have, you know, to mold some new musicians, because when you go to these games, that the band is the soul, the heart.
He know.
Yeah.
Because he was at a school too before a while.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. He was doing that for a while. So we saw the future of Karat City with all these programs coming back. And if you ask me, everything looks bright. Number one, we see that the leadership there is strong enough to take Karat City where it needs to go. And
when the principal sneezes,
back in the head, back leading everything.
When the principal sneezes, the school should catch their cold.
Watch out.
Yep. And so that's how contagious it should be from what you put out. And I expect nothing but greatness. And I don't settle for an excuse of blaming kids. We stopped doing that 100 years ago. Right now, I think adults have to take some ownership and take it, you know, and I want it to be contagious enough for you to feel the same passion that I have, that it echoes everywhere we go. The kids starting to believe in it. I think you have to teach what pride looks like. I don't think they even know what pride is, other than, you know, what they believe on social media, because that's become their idol. But putting it right in front of them. Every Friday is a Greek Friday. All the fraternities and sororities, we stroll. I said scroll. We stroll every Friday during lunch to remind them about that college. Yeah.
Now, you also part of that. You didn't mention that.
That's right. I'm a Delta. 25. This is my 25th year.
Ray a Delta too.
Yeah, he a Delta.
You want me to be?
Man, yeah, you know what? I thought you were going to say Calvin, but yeah.
I didn't want to fall asleep.
No,
so
I'm okay.
We're talking with Dr. Bridgette Mckinney, and we're having a good time. And we see the future is bright for Miami Karat City with Coach Stubbs and also Dr. McKinney, and partner up. And we definitely don't want to go 1-9 again. Thank you for coming by, Doc.
Don't want that.
No.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you for coming by.
Great program.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You got our support, Chief Hall Podcast, as well as Chief Hall Facebook.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We out. Hey, Cookman, slow down, man. What?